Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm a professional actor living in Lethbridge, a creative and resilient little city nestled into the coulees amidst the vast prairie landscape of Alberta. This city, its people and views have stolen my heart over the years, much like the works and words of a certain poet, William Shakespeare. Welcome to Thy Bard Shakesonnet, where I sit down with a handful of local Lethbridge artists like myself to both shake down and shake up a handful of Shakespeare's age-old sonnets. Each artist and I will discuss a single sonnet over the course of an episode before creating our very own in the next.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Shakesonnet.
In this episode, we are shaking down none other than William Shakespeare's 64th sonnet. But we needn't do so alone. Oh no! Please join me in welcoming Doug
MacArthur!
Doug MacArthur is a professional actor, a professor, dialect coach, and associate dean at the University of Lethbridge in southern Alberta, Canada. He graduated from York University with an MFA in acting and a graduate-level voice teaching diploma. He's participated in shows in Canada and the United States, and frequently visits the Roy Hart Theatre in France for further training. Thank you so much for being here with me, Doug.
It's good to be here.
And thank you so much to everybody tuning in. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 7 territory, which is also home to Métis Nation Region 3. Let's take a quick read of Sonnet 64 in its entirety. When I have seen by time's fell hand defaced the rich proud cost of outworn buried age, when sometime lofty towers I see down raised, and brass eternal slave to mortal rage, when I have seen the hungry ocean gain advantage on the kingdom of the shore, and the firm soil win of the watery main, increasing store with loss, and loss with store, when I have seen such interchange of state, or state itself confounded to decay, ruin hath taught me thus to ruminate, that time will come and take my love away. This thought is as a death which cannot choose, but weep to have that which it fears to lose. Yeah, so I guess my first question for you would just be, what do you generally take away from this sonnet? What does it bring to mind for you, just generally speaking?
Just generally, my search for a sonnet for us to work on just kept coming back to this particular sonnet, and generally, it is talking about those things that we think maybe are permanent, or assume are permanent, or those things that we put in place that hope will carry on in one way or another. Time, weather, circumstances, whatever, take that away. And it sounds like a bit of a downer at the end of this. Yeah. And I think it puts that idea before us that, there's going to be loss, but we must choose. And, I guess that's what is the choice? The choice is to love, I think.
Right.
Although the poet understands that I'm going to love this person, but time will take that person away, or take me away from that person.
And I also love what you're saying about the fact that things will be taken away at some point almost adds to their beauty. Or the fact that we feel pain at times adds to, what's the opposite of pain? I guess joy.
Joy, I guess. Yeah, joy, satisfaction.
Yeah.
Something around satisfaction. I mean, life. We have to make choices in life, and I love what you said about the fact that they are impermanent, or if we recognize that, it actually adds to their beauty.
Absolutely.
But there's by embracing life, making those choices, there's a joy, there's a satisfaction. There's the opposite of pain.
Yes, thank you. Something I clearly don't have a lot of experience with. Great. So let's dive into stanza 1, lines 1 through 4, and see what stands out to us. When I have seen by time's fell hand defaced the rich proud cost of outworn buried age, when sometime lofty towers I see down raised, and brass eternal slave to mortal rage. Yeah, there's some awesome words in here, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, what stands out to you?
One thing, the author personifies time, so time becomes a character,
Right.
a person, or an entity in this. Down raised. I mean, when this particular sonnet, I think, introduced me to the word raised. I don't think I'd ever seen that word before. I mean, I guess I'm not really overly embarrassed about that at all. But because I was probably in my mid 40s, and I don't think I'd ever come against or up to that word raised being something that was leveled.
Yeah, demolished,
But we hear the word raised, and to have the word down raised, but it's leveled, but there's something about down up there at the same.
Dynamic.
Incredibly. Another thing, in 2001, I remember some colleagues, some of mine, that we had either studied together or something, sent this around at 9/11, especially this lofty towers down raised. Something about, I mean, obviously that situation was more than just two towers coming down, but it wasn't just that. It was the security of the world. There was a lot of heaviness around that event that had a huge change worldwide, and it made this sonnet, 400 or 500 years old sonnet, even that much more relevant.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's the beauty of the sonnets as well too, is there's something universal about the human experience, even today.
Yeah, is there anything outside of the box that it makes you think of?
Yeah, I mean, this particular stanza, to me, it is about that human drive to make one's mark here or leave one's story behind in ways that are tangible items and things for some reason, and but with the full knowledge that they're impermanent, but it gives us some feeling of permanence somehow.
Did you know the oldest house in Lethbridge, the Perry House, dates back to 1886? Reminds me of like school tables when people mark initials. Or like tree bark.
People mark their
exactly. Initials on it.
Yeah,
And it's like
exactly. Yeah.
that small act of like defiance against time. It's like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I may pass or I'll grow old, but
Yeah.
this mark, my initials.
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
What color does this first stanza bring to mind?
I think of sort of like this beige stone monument color, gray beige.
Beige gray it is. Great. Let's dive into stanza 2 from the original, lines 5 through 8, and see what stands out to us. When I have seen the hungry ocean gain advantage on the kingdom of the shore, and the firm soil win of the watery main, increasing store with loss, and loss with store. What stands out to you in this second stanza? What does it make you think of?
Well, this stanza is about nature, and how nature, to me anyway, is changes and shifts because of time and erosion, water. It does reference, the the soil. They're talking a lot about the soil and water and how that. Have you ever been to the Grand Canyon?
I have not. No.
It's quite grand.
What?
But do you remember the show Flintstones?
Yes.
Do you remember the show Flintstones? I know this is off. This isn't off topic. It's sort of related, but there's great. Of course, Flintstones is prehistoric, right?
Yeah.
You know, and they're on vacation or something. And Fred and Barney are standing by this stream, and there's a sign that says Grand Canyon. And they say in like 2 million years or something, this is going to be, you know, so it's like, you know, they're anticipating. It's not that, but it, you know, just immediately reminded me while we were talking. I hadn't thought of the Grand Canyon, but it's like literally, whether it was a stream like that, but at some point, the water worked its way through the rock. And, you know, if you go to rivers, it actually cuts holes into the rock from just hitting it again. And, you know, even our own, you know, here in Lethbridge, the coulees, you know, I mean, it's continually changing and shaping.
Did you know the Old Man River flows from the Rocky Mountains through the communities of Fort Macleod, Lethbridge, and Grassy Lakes, where it joins up with the Bow River?
You sort of see these before and after pictures of shorelines that have, you know, changed significantly in the last whatever, even if it's like 50 or 100 years. But sometimes we don't notice the erosion. We begin to notice it, but in the beginning, we just think, no, this will be fine, And then suddenly the water is, you know, at our doorstep, so to speak.
It honestly makes me think, I mean, I'm from the UK, and it makes you think of this little island just surrounded by ocean and like, you know, eating away at that. And you know, it kind of makes me think of like, you know, how people love their countries, you know, like, and they love, or they hate it, I don't know, but just that idea of like being rooted to like a place, like geographically, and, you know, people find meaning in that, and but then it's, you know, slowly but surely it's changing. And does it make you think of any like music or TV shows or movies or?
There's a Canadian artist, his name is Bruce Coburn, but he has a song, I think it's from an album called Sunwheel, but it just came to mind, and it's just about fall. Why it comes to mind, it is about that season and that time of years when things decay.
Great. And what color does this stanza bring to mind?
I'm gonna have to say a muddy color. The water, you know, you think of the blue water, but there's something about that mixture of the water and the soil that is not blue. Right. You know.
Yeah. So kind of brown. Does that work?
Yeah. I think sort of.
Brown it is. Let's take a look at stanza 3, lines 9 through 12, and see what stands out to us. When I have seen such interchange of state, or state itself confounded to decay, ruin hath taught me thus to ruminate, that time will come and take my love away. Awesome. And so here we start to see time kind of creeps back in.
Yep, for sure.
Right at the end there on line 12. But what does this make you think of?
This is a point too in the sonnet where the poet is going, okay, this is what it is. All of this observation has caused me to think about my life and where I am and those people that I love. I think, you know, the sort of my love that, you know, eventually they will pass away. It also makes me think of how, I mean, right now, politically, the fragility of our political systems, you know, and so, and I mean, that's what's so wonderful about it. It is still relevant. I mean, that's why we come back to them.
Any, like, again, like music or shows or careers or just, I don't know, food come to mind? You'd be surprised.
I know,
but
Does it make me want? It makes me want to binge and eat. I want comfort food. I want comfort food. There's this song by a guy named Mitten. It's Miten. This is I think, his spiritual name. It really is about ashes to ashes, but it is also about the continuation beyond life, what we know as life. Because this brings up death, really. I mean, this really does. That time will take my love away, right?
Did you know there are 4 cemeteries in the city of Lethbridge?
Quite often you'll hear in some spiritual traditions, some Buddhist traditions, they'll say, this person has left their body. You become the soil, and like there's this. There is a continuation in life in the natural world. I'm not talking about reincarnation, but just through the elements that.
Oh, and what that makes me think of, if I may.
Yeah, please, yeah.
Is like, because it doesn't say death like outright. It says away.
Yeah.
And that also makes me think of like energy is neither created nor destroyed.
Right.
It's just, it just changes or transfers, right?
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
What color does this third stanza make you think of?
I'm going to go with like a golden yellow. I'm thinking partly of the flowers in the hair, but the ceremony of potential change. And it makes me think of sort of the Hindu tradition. It makes me think of these flowers that might be floating on a river somewhere or surrounding, somebody in their shroud and whatnot. I wasn't anticipating that, but yeah.
Golden yellow it is. Great. Let's take a look at the rhyming couplet right at the end here, lines 13 and 14, and see what stands out to us. This thought is as a death which cannot choose, but weep to have that which it fears to lose. Death is mentioned in line 13, but it's still is as a death.
Yeah,
and it's not literally a death.
No.
Is as a death, and I feel that's really interesting given our conversation.
I totally, when you read it, even though I'm familiar with this, that is as a death really stuck out this time for me, where it hadn't before, and sort of the importance of this. This for me personally is like decisions are a huge challenge. I mean, this is with the theme, but in a sense, I could see the dilemma. I mean, if we take it to what the poet's talking about, it's like, do I put all of my heart into this, knowing that it's going to go away? It invites us, really, even though it seems like a bit of a downer at the end of this. It invites us.
Do any songs come to mind?
Yeah, there's a Garth Brooks song called "The Dance."
Okay.
And he's got a couple of songs like this, which is just right. There's another one called "The River." Are you going to stand on the side and watch the river go by? Or are you going to be in the tide of the river and see where it takes you? Right. To go back to water. The dance is about love specifically. The dance of life, and you're not sure what's going to happen.
Right.
But again, it's sort of like, are you going to go and dance?
Does this rhyming couplet at the end make you think of any colors?
I did see red.
Any reason why? Just a feeling?
I think it is more sort of a feeling, because if I want to analyze it, I think red can be warm, but it can be hot. It can be both dangerous and comforting, it
can be inviting and warm.
It's like,
red it is. Stay tuned for the next episode where Daniel and Doug shake up Sonnet 64.